Hi everybody, it's COntrera and welcome back to the Alive at Work Leadership video blog. This week we're going to change gears a little bit. We're going to talk about the topic of extraordinary. And this week's vlog is entitled The Challenge to Be Extraordinary. Now, in order to be extraordinary, I think we first need to understand the meaning of the word extraordinary. So let's break the word in two and start by talking about the second half of the word, which is ordinary. Ordinary is a word that has basically evolved over time. The original meaning of the word in the 1400s was defined as being regular, customary, belonging to the usual order, conform to a regulated sequence or arrangement. It was later defined in the early 1800s as both commonplace, meaning of poor quality, coarse, and ugly. Pay close attention to the words conformed, regulated, and commonplace. Now, let's look at the other half of the word. Extra. As a noun, extra is defined as an item in addition to what is usual or strictly necessary. It originally was derived from Latin extra, which meant outside or beyond. So we can define the word extraordinary as going beyond what is regulated or strictly necessary, to go beyond conformity and what is regulated by others. Now, if you want to be extraordinary or lead an extraordinary life, you have to be willing to step beyond your comfort zone. What is known, what is familiar, and what is easy. It means to push yourself beyond what your beliefs tell you is possible and what might never have been done before and maybe done before by you. You see, extraordinary can be quite personal. Which leads me to the whole idea of who decides the meaning of the word extraordinary for you. Is it society or your family, your peers, your spouse, your partner, your kids, teachers, priests, rabbis, government, the church, the media? Defining what you believe about the meaning of the word extraordinary for you by anyone other than you is actually quite dangerous. You see, if you allow others who have their own agenda or their own set of beliefs to decide for you your meaning of extraordinary or being extraordinary, then you're always going to conform to their way of life, their ideals, and what they choose. And if they choose a life of ordinariness, so will you. The greatest thinkers of all time, they never spoke of conformity. In fact, they were always about going beyond the norms, beyond what was ordinary, beyond what the masses believed or said was the truth. And in doing so, they were sometimes branded as radicals, as outliers, and at times even evil. When you decide to be extraordinary or to have an extraordinary life, you have to be willing to accept that others, maybe even those you love, may attempt to hold you back, not because they're evil or bad, but out of their own desire to stay safe and secure, to stay within the boundaries of conformity. And you see, when you push back against someone's beliefs or their system of beliefs, their natural inclination is to push back. They will defend, argue, and reason in an attempt to convince you, being the other person, of the legitimacy of their way. The ultimate goal is about alignment and conformity, and if they're successful, the ultimate triumph for them is this superficial sense of security that their truth, their path, or their way is the right one and everyone else is wrong, so you're supposed to follow them. However, when you don't conform, there are consequences. As Emerson stated in his law of compensation, everything has a cost. Time in one area of your life spent there will cost you in other areas of your life. A decision to be extraordinary will cost you in some other area of your life. You see, the greatest challenge facing those who don't follow, who don't conform, who choose to be extraordinary, to go beyond the ordinary, well, the consequences result in the probability of being kicked out of the club, banished from the group, or belittled. This exclusion, it actually goes against your human desire to belong, which is in your DNA. And the hope is that the pain of being excluded will get you to conform and rejoin the group, which is something we're going to talk about next week when we talk about extraordinariness and the herd mentality. But for now, I just have 3 questions for you. The first question is this: do you really want to be extraordinary? Do you want an extraordinary life? What would being extraordinary or having an extraordinary life look like for you? And what are you willing to give up in order to be extraordinary and to live that extraordinary life? Just some great stuff to think about this week. Until next time, be safe and be well.